Well, thank you very much for attending this news press conference. As Megan said, my name is August Fonz. I currently serve as the interim chief for the Hobbs Police Department, and I'm accompanied up front by the Hobbs Fire Chief, Mr. Barry Young, Hobbs Police Department Criminal Investigation Division Commander, Captain Chad Wright, the 5th Judicial District Attorney, Ms. Diana Luce, and Ms. Trish Garza from Children, Youth, and Families Department. I'd like to read a prepared statement to you with regard to this recovered infant, and then we'll take questions at the conclusion of this prepared statement. On Friday, January 7th, at approximately 7:45 p.m., Lee County Communications Authority received an emergency 911 call regarding an infant baby that had been found alive in a dumpster. They immediately dispatched Hobbs PD officers and Hobbs Fire Department Emergency Medical Services to the area of Thorpe and Ute Streets in reference to this report. Police officers and EMS personnel arrived at the scene within minutes, and they located 2 males standing close to a truck in the alley behind the mall, and a female sitting in that truck holding and caring for an infant baby. The baby was wrapped in a bath towel that was dirty and wet and had dried blood on him with the umbilical cord still attached. The baby was taken from the female by a Hobbs officer, was given to EMS personnel, and was transported immediately to Covenant Health Hobbs Hospital. The baby was treated at Covenant Health Hobbs Hospital and later airlifted to medical facilities in Lubbock, Texas. The baby is currently in stable condition at Covenant Hospital in Lubbock, Texas. The New Mexico Children, Youth, and Families Department has been notified, and they are actively participating in this investigation. The 2 males and females located at the scene advised officers that they were going through the dumpster looking for anything of value when they heard what they thought was a baby crying. They thought it may have been a dog or a kitten, so they removed a black trash bag. They opened it and they saw that it was a human baby. The female removed the baby from the trash bag and held him, trying to keep him warm, while one of the male companions called 911. The male caller identified the baby as an infant male. The 2 males and the 1 female at the scene have been identified as Mr. Michael Green, Mr. Hector Jasso, and Mrs. April Nuttall. Their collective quick response to this emergency, including notification of 911, was absolutely pivotal in saving this baby's life. The Hobbs Police Department detectives responded to the scene, and they contacted Mr. Joe Imbriali, who is the owner of Rig Outfitters, the store behind which the dumpster was located. Mr. Imbriali gave his full cooperation and assistance, which was also pivotal in this investigation. They searched through the store video surveillance, which showed footage at approximately 2 p.m. of a white Volkswagen Jetta pulling up to the dumpster. A female, later identified as Alexis Avila, exited the vehicle, removed a black trash bag from the rear seat of the Jetta, and then threw it into the dumpster. The female immediately got back into the Jetta and drove south through the alley. Based on the timelines in this surveillance video, the infant was in the dumpster for approximately 6 hours. Detectives were able to get a possible license plate of New Mexico AXM S67 from the surveillance video, which was registered to Martha Avila of Hobbs. Detectives and patrol officers went to this address and contacted Miss Martha Avila and Mr. Domingo Avila, who advised that their daughter, Alexis Avila, drove that vehicle and that she was asleep in the house. Detectives advised Mr. and Mrs. Avila of the nature of the investigation and asked if Alexa would voluntarily meet with them at the police department. Mrs. Martha Avila, the mother, advised that Alexis agreed to meet with the detectives, and Mrs. Martha Avila drove her daughter to the Hobbs Police Department, where she, Alexis, met with investigators. Alexis was given her Miranda warnings, and she did agree to speak with detectives. During the interview, she said she was not aware that she was pregnant until January 6, 2022, when she sought medical attention for abdominal pain and constipation. She explained that on Friday, January 7th, she was experiencing stomach pain and unexpectedly gave birth. She further explained that she panicked, did not know what to do or who to call. She stated that she then cut the umbilical cord, wrapped the baby in a towel, and placed the baby inside a white trash bag containing some trash, and then inside a larger black trash bag. She explained that she then started driving around until she decided to place the baby inside a green-colored dumpster near the J.C. Penney store. Alexis was asked by investigators what she thought would eventually happen to the baby by placing him inside of a plastic bag and dumping him. Alexis remained silent and could not answer. Alexis Avila identified who she believed the father was. However, he will not be named in this release as he is a juvenile. Alexis advised that she ended her relationship with the alleged father around August 2021. Investigators are in the process of setting up an interview with him. Mr. and Mrs. Avila denied having any knowledge that their daughter was pregnant and stated that they were only aware that she was having some stomach problems until notified by law enforcement of this ongoing investigation. Search warrants were obtained for the Volkswagen Jetta and the residence, and evidence has been seized, primarily blood swab, clothing, with and without blood, and a towel. Following consultation with the district attorney, Diana Luce, Ms. Alexis Avila was charged with attempted first-degree murder or alternatively abuse of a child, felony abuse of a child. Alexis Avila was arrested on a warrant and processed into the Hobbs City Jail at 5:15 p.m. January 8th, 2022, and she was released at 6:33 p.m. on January 8th, 2022. All appropriate paperwork has been filed with the district court, and we are currently awaiting the court to schedule a first appearance at arraignment. My sincere thanks and respect to the patrol officers, detectives, and EMS personnel who responded, rendered aid, and conducted an exemplary investigation in the face of an extremely difficult circumstance. These types of calls often stay with officers long after they are resolved, often for many, many years, sometimes forever. We want to additionally thank and express our gratitude to Mr. Green, Mr. Jasso, and Mrs. Nuttall, who found the infant and notified authorities, and Mr. Imbriali, who greatly assisted in the subsequent investigation. And lastly, just a reminder and notice to the public that HPD and HFD are designated, Hobbs Police Department, Hobbs Fire Department are designated safe haven sites as defined in the Safe Haven for Infants Act. A person may leave an infant with the staff of a safe haven site without being subjected to criminal prosecution for abandonment or abuse if the infant was born within 90 days of being left at the safe haven site, as determined within a reasonable degree of medical certainty and not left in a condition that would constitute abandonment or abuse of a child. We, the City of Hobbs, the Hobbs Police Department, and the Hobbs Fire Department remain committed to ensuring the safety of all infants in our community. So thank you for that, and at this time, I'll open up for questions. Yes, sir.
We've heard reports earlier today that Alexis Avila's house was actually attacked and fired at. We were wondering if you could confirm that information and if there are any steps that the police department are doing right now to protect her while she is out on patrol.
We are maintaining a close patrol on her residence. I'm not aware of any verified or confirmed reports that her house was fired upon or shot at. Yes, sir.
So what is next for this infant at this time? Are you assisting in ensuring that the infant is in proper care? Is there any close family or other avenues to get her into safekeeping in the future?
Sir, the baby's in the lawful custody of children, youth, and families at this point. She is in Lubbock. He is in Lubbock. He's in stable condition. And any other information I can't release due to confidentiality from CYFD, and because of he's a young child, baby. Yes, sir.
Have y'all, as you know, Hobbs Police Department, Hobbs Fire Department, have y'all experienced anything like this in the past, anything remotely similar to this, previously at any point?
Well, I can't speak for everyone else here, sir, but I never have. I've spent my entire career in law enforcement. I've never seen a situation like this or encountered a situation like this. Yes, sir.
Do you know if the father has made any contact with the baby, and do you know what his rights would be in this situation?
No, sir, I don't. She has reportedly named him, and investigators are now trying to set up an interview with him, but at this time, I have no other information on that.
It looks like she only spent about an hour and 15 minutes in jail the day that she was arrested. Can you elaborate more on the circumstances that led to her release, how that was arranged, and when she may be taken back into custody?
Yes, sir, the officers secured a warrant. They consulted with the district attorney's office, got a warrant. At the time the warrant was signed by the judge signed a bond, $10,000 unsecured bond, appearance bond. And at that point, she was released about an hour later after being processed based on that direction from the court. Yes, sir.
Speaking to community members, some have said that Alexis had a scholarship and that she was afraid of losing it if she had this child. Is there any truth behind those rumors?
Sir, I don't know. That's the first I've heard that. I don't know.
You touched on this a little bit at the end of your comments here about the police department being a safe haven and other options people may have. If you could summarize a wider message that you may want to communicate about this instance to the wider community, anything people may be able to take away from this if they may find themselves in similar circumstances in the future, what would that message be?
If you're struggling with a new infant and you're unable to take care of that infant or take care of that baby, the best response to that is to find somebody who can help you with that. And as designated safe haven, the police department or the fire department are willing to do that. And I would just recommend to anybody in those kind of circumstances to contact us and let us help them through that situation. Yes, sir.
Are you aware of any medical treatment that Alexis has received? I know giving birth is not always the easiest process. Is she in good health at this time?
I'm not aware of any medical treatment that's been given to Alexis.
Can we get any better idea of the timeline for the first appearance and arraignment? Any more details about what we can expect from that?
Sir, we were waiting to hear from the district court this afternoon about a appearance date, an arraignment date. I just checked with the district attorney right before this conference, and we have not heard yet, but we anticipate hearing something this afternoon, and as soon as we do, we'll put that out there. But right now, I don't have time.
Can you clarify something real quick? So it said that Miss Alexis Avalo was charged with attempted first-degree murder or alternatively abuse of a child. Is it two charges or is it one or the other?
Let me defer to the district attorney to answer that. I think she's better versed to do that than I am.
Good afternoon. We often charge alternatively when the facts support both charges. Attempted first-degree murder, willful and deliberate, was our first selection for charge. But obviously, because this involves a minor child, and anytime you're alleging any kind of injury or danger to a child, there is the child abuse statute. So we alternatively pled the child abuse charge as second-degree felony. At the preliminary hearing, which will be held in district court at some point, that determination will be made as to what charges go forward.
Yes, sir.
This is kind of an open question to anyone up there, but with these safe havens across New Mexico. Obviously, Alexis didn't know anything about it, and so what would you do to make sure that people who are in these situations know about these safe havens and that we don't have this situation come up again?
Right, I can't speak to what's elsewhere in the state. I can tell you that we are in discussion about furthering that education of the public, and this was for lack of a better term, an opportune time to do that. And, but we do plan on the future, putting more information out about that program. And Senator Gallegos is in the back of the room, and he is an advocate for that program, and we are going to pursue that further.
I have another clarifying question
Sure.
on the prosecution side, relating to these charges. If she were to be charged with both of these, either together or separately, and if she were to be found guilty of either of them, what kind of penalties does that carry?
Obviously, we would expect, we've charged it alternatively, she could only be convicted of one of the two. A second-degree felony can carry normally up to, for the attempted second-degree murder, a second-degree felony when someone does not die would be 9 years. But when it involves a child, the penalties can be enhanced and be up to 15 years. So it will depend on what charge is bound over as to what the potential maximum sentence is. And then obviously at the resolution of the case, at a conviction, whatever that charge might be, that penalty at that time.
Okay, if there are no other questions, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here today. Unfortunate circumstance, but thank you for the travel, thank you for the time, and we'll keep you updated and apprised of anything else that occurs in the future, and possibly another conference later this week.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. As Chief Fons did share, there will be updates shared as we become aware of them. They will be released as we have through my email address at mmooney, MMOONEY @hobbsnm.org. And you can also contact me there for additional information. And we will do our best to keep you and the public aware of these updates. Thank you.